Physics 911. There are two equations needing help. The first is Newton's equation. This is present-day equation for a field of gravity. It says the force of gravity is equal to the constant times mass 1 times mass 2 divided by the radius squared. That equation says that it exists, but it doesn't say why. It is incomplete. The one below it stating the force of gravity is mass 1 times q squared times mass 2 times q squared divided by the radius squared explains why this completes that equation. At youtube.com, there's a video, 300 Years of Physics Error, that explains why this is true. The next problem we find is with E equals mc2 in the acceleration of mass. E equals mc2 does not describe mass acceleration. It describes the construction of mass. The equation that should have been used in the acceleration of mass, the energy value should have been E equals hf. This describes electromagnetic energy. And why is that important? This line represents the old-time door spring. The center circle is a door spring moved into a complete circle, and then below we see the ends pushed into each other. Long time ago, if you were to take a door spring and put it in a complete circle, push the ends into each other, it would remain as a circle when it was released. Mass is composed of electrons. Electrons are formed of electromagnetic energy that apparently has overlapped its own frequency and remains bonded when that condition exists. It can only form in the presence of an already existing mass, which means, of course, God would have had to have created the first mass, or a further mass construction couldn't have happened. Electrons form neutrons and protons. It is the basis of our physical world. We see here to the left, there is a 6-inch strip of green paper with lines representing frequency on it. The green at the top is mass at rest. When it is at rest, energy has a potential of moving through the mass in any direction at the speed of light, 186,282 miles a second. But we find that when that mass accelerates to 2/3 the speed of light, leaving but 1/3 the speed of light left, which is 68,094 miles a second, that is all the distance that energy has a potential of moving, because its existence has been increased in the direction of the speed of light, so there's no more potential left. All the energy has been used. And this shows why mass being composed of electromagnetic energy, having its frequency changed in the direction of travel toward becoming condensed, explains why E equals hf is the value needed to describe mass as it accelerates. Then we find in the next one, at 90% the speed of light, leaving 10% left, there's only 18,600 88 miles a second for mass, having a potential to have energy move through it in any direction. It could only move that distance, having that potential per second. Then we find at the speed of light, 186,202 miles a second, C at minus 2 miles per second has the same construction as would a mass in outer space moving at that space. It would equate with a distance within our core of 0.717 miles per second in a core. This is due to mass compression. So we find that as mass is accelerated, the frequency lines become condensed. And then we get to the very end, and they would almost disappear. At the speed of light, the mass would convert into electromagnetic energy and no longer have an existence for potential moving at right angles or any other direction, because it would all be moving at the speed of light. And that everything is composed of this frequency. Once this frequency is achieved, there exists no more energy potential in any direction, even in the direction of travel. Now this bottom graphic shows along here that there's radio waves, infrared. In the middle of the dark is the visible light. Then we go up to UV, up to cosmic and gamma radiation. Those are frequencies that we use. In the numerical value, it gives a numerical value for these frequencies. The frequency is what these lines represent. That's physical reality. The ones here to the left, they show numeric reality. But an example of this being accomplished in our lives every day is when we accelerate in an automobile. When you're pushed back in your seat, the lines of frequency within your body are changing. They are changing from way over here being very long toward becoming more condensed. Not like these, of course, but they are becoming condensed. So this is the answer to the problem. And I think this call is complete.